Welcome back to our community. Susie Thomas here with you, and now we are joined by Lisa Williams, who is the program coordinator for Stark County Honor Court, and Judge Taryn Heath. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining me. I guess we want to start with what is Honor Court and what is the purpose of Honor Court?
Okay, this is Judge Heath, and basically Honor Court is a specialized docket that's been certified by the Ohio Supreme Court in the Stark County Court of Common Pleas, where we have individuals who have found themselves involved in the criminal justice system who happen to be veterans. Mm-hmm. The approach to this specialized docket is providing the participants with all sorts of services that will make them more successful in their quest to successfully complete probation.
Now, is this something that comes along as difficulty with reentry into just civil life again, or being back in just citizen life again after being in combat? Do people get into much legal trouble when they come back after being at war?
Some do. It's, just like every individual responds differently to stressful situations in life, I think the same goes for the military. Some people who are involved in combat situations find themselves with post-traumatic stress disorder, perhaps traumatic brain injury, substance abuse, and typically issues like that oftentimes lead them to become involved in the criminal justice system.
So difficult, isn't it? As we think of people returning, we think of that warm homecoming. We've seen the beautiful pictures of families being reunited, and then we like to think in our heads, and they lived happily ever after. And that's not always the case, is it?
No, and some people have combat-related injuries that have them in chronic pain, which leads to potentially addiction issues. And they have relationship issues, which is where the vet center, comes into play. There's a myriad of issues that returning veterans can face, and we try to address all of their concerns, the whole person, not just their criminal behavior, when we have our participants in Honor Court.
It sounds like Honor Court is a court with a heart, because it seems like you would be coming alongside the perpetrator of a crime to try to help them and really help them get back on their feet, perhaps in a way that if they were not a veteran, that would be a little bit different of a case. Lisa, let's turn to you and ask you, your program coordinator, what are some of these programs that do come alongside the vet and help them through this time?
Well, basically, when they enter the program, they are given every opportunity to let us know what they need. And we set them up with any kind of basic needs that they might need. We ask them the first time that they see us, have you eaten? Do you have somewhere to lay your head at night? What is your challenges that you foresee throughout the program? And then we kind of help them from the ground up, because the way we see it is that if somebody doesn't have somewhere to sleep and they don't have anything to eat, or they have transportation problems, it's going to be difficult for them to complete probation.
Are you seeing some problems more than other problems? What would those be?
The majority of the people in our program do have mental health problems or substance abuse problems, or a combination of both. So we do try to address that. The majority of them have lost their jobs either as a result of their charge or having gone to the jail while they were waiting to be charged. So that's a huge barrier, is employment, not only because they maybe just are out of a job, but also because they now have a felony on their record. So that is something that we try to work with employers in the area to try to overlook and kind of give them that second chance.
Let's peel that back a little bit more, too, because it would seem that someone coming back after they've fought for their country sometimes have difficulty finding work again anyway. So then in committing a crime, you think of the scenes from Les Mis, trying to get some bread for their children, commit a crime, and then you're right. It's so much more difficult then. What do you do to that person? They just seem like they've hit the bottom rung.
Well, we actually found a little found secret that we have in this county, and actually in most counties in the state of Ohio. Ohio Means Jobs has an employment representative, and we work personally with Troy Bradfield there. And he is a huge advocate of honor court. He's seen it work. So anybody that comes into our program that is unemployed gets referred to him right away. He sits with them. He builds their resume. He has contacts with employers, and he will advocate for that veteran on their behalf. He will give them job leads. He will set them up with interviews, and then he also holds like job fairs and whatnot with certain employers and tries to connect them based on their experience either in the military or previous job experience that they have, and hook them up with the appropriate employer. And then we also sometimes write them a letter of good standing, saying that they're compliant with our program and that they're doing very well and that they're on track, and that can sometimes help getting a letter from the court saying that they're in compliance.
Do you have some employers that you'd like to give a shout out to who've been exceptionally good at giving people a second chance?
I would say we've had a very wide array of employers that have employed some of our participants. A lot of times we find that right out from starting the program, Sterilite is a huge one. We've had a couple people at Shears. So, I mean, it depends. A lot of them come in with a job, and then we help them maybe get training. We've actually started reaching out to some of the local trade unions and organizations to try to get them job skills so that they're in a better position when they leave us than when they came.
When you talk about an advocate that can help build a resume and so forth, it's still up to that person, isn't it, to go into that
it sure is.
job interview and get the job. They're not sitting with them there saying, give them a chance.
Yeah. And that's something that the advocate actually talks to them about. He talks to them about, play up, your life experiences and your whole experience with the court system. Be honest with them and tell them, what you're going through and how it's changed you. And that can sometimes help too.
Tell us a little bit about the families. I'm sure you have some wonderful success stories that you'd love to talk about as well. Some of the real happy endings that you've gotten to see. Any particular come to mind?
Yeah, there was one individual that I had actually sent to prison on a couple of occasions.
Judge Heath.
And who came back and successfully completed our honor program.
Wow.
Went on to go into partnership and own his own business with somebody else.
Wow.
And become particularly self-supporting. Went on to become married and have a family. And he actually gave a testimonial at our last mentor appreciation breakfast. And I think everybody there literally had goosebumps because he made a couple of interesting statements. He says, it's so unusual for me to be invited to be with you as opposed to being court ordered to be with you. and
That's
to
cute.
be invited here as opposed to being in shackles. And
he was an honored
and-
guest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was very inspiring for all of us who work with Honor Court to see that the work we're doing is actually making a difference in lives.
Mm-hmm. We're speaking with Judge Taryn Heath, who, is the judge for Honor Court, right, from the Stark County Courthouse, and also to Lisa Williams, who's program coordinator and at the Stark County Honor Court. Just an interesting idea that Honor Court is regular court set aside for those who have served. And how busy are you?
I'll defer to Lisa on that. She has all the stats on how many participants we have.
Well, we have court every 2 weeks, And we typically start around 2 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, and we have a full treatment team of various community providers and court staff that we meet with for 1 hour before court, and we staff each individual as we go. And then at 3 o'clock, we go on the record, and we go out into court, and we take each veteran up to this podium individually, and then the judge has a one-on-one judicial interaction with them, which is proven to keep them on track.
And then trying to
statistically.
identify their specific needs and then meet those needs. It's
Yes.
wonderful, wonderful program. You mentioned mentors. Let's get into who these people are, and do you need more, and how can someone become one?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that question. We have mentors for Honor Court who are actually veterans who are volunteering their time with the Honor Court. We always can use more mentors. And if anyone is interested in becoming a mentor, you can contact our mentor coordinator at 330-341-9889, and our mentor coordinator is Terry Rolls.
Can you give that number one more time, please?
Certainly, 330-341-9889.
And ask for Terry?
Yeah, ask for Terry. And the role of a veteran mentor is just to assist the veteran in identifying his or her needs and to act as a support for the veteran at a time when they may feel alone in a way that only another veteran can understand. You have to be a good listener and have a level of compassion, but we also are looking for accountability from our participants as well. And while the team is staffing for the court docket to begin, the mentors are interacting with the participants right before we go into the regular docket. So
Wonderful.
that time commitment would be basically every other Monday from approximately 2 to 4:30.
Does it matter if age group, if people have been in combat in similar wars matters, or you can mix it up, older to younger, whatever?
It's kind of a free forum at first. When a new participant comes in, they all just kind of talk together, and then we try to naturally let that happen, the pairing of them, before they're assigned a particular mentor. They may want to talk to 2 or 3 different mentors before they get paired with them.
And no one knows like someone who's been there, right?
Yes.
What a wonderful idea. All right, we've been visiting with Judge Taryn Heath and Lisa Williams, both from the Honors Court, Stark County Honors Court, and also my thanks to Billy Janet Berkey and to Dr. Gerald Weir from the Vet Center. I want to remind you about the November 15th event coming up at First Christian Church, where we will get to thank our vets for the Thanksgiving dinner. In the meantime, this is Susie Thomas for the Light 95.9 WNPQ, and this has been our community. Thanks for joining us.